In our social study class for today, we are going to talk about marriage. Remember the previous classes, we talked about how we can live together as one good family, and we have seen how families can live in unity and peace. Today we are going to talk about marriage. I know you must have heard that word marriage. In the course of today's class, we're going to discuss two main areas: meaning of marriage, types of marriage. In our everyday life, we hear people getting married. We hear people that they are coming together. They want to tie the knots. They want to be joined. They want to get married. What is marriage? In our social study class today, we're going to explain what marriage is. Marriage has to do with the legal union of two persons to become man and husband and wife. It is the legal union, the legal coming together of a man and a woman in holy matrimony to become husband and wife. And such coming together has to do with the two parties agreeing to come into such solemn arrangement. It has to be a mutual concept, an agreement between two persons, a man and a woman. And it has to be bounded by law, sometimes by custom, sometimes by tradition of the people, and sometimes by legal rights as it contains in the law of the land. But let's see what marriage is. Let's try to see what we have on the board. From what I have explained, what is marriage? This is a term that is used to describe the relationship. The key word here, relationship between. So the relationship between a man and a woman who have become husband and wife, that is regulated by laws, customs, beliefs, and attitude that prescribe the rights and duties of the parties. Therefore, marriage is defined as a legal union of man and woman to become husband and wife. Now, if you look at the key points here, you see that it is used to describe relationship between. It has to be a relationship between a man and a woman. When we are talking about types of marriage, we will see it can be more than one man, it can be more than one woman. So it is a relationship between a man and a woman. And secondly, it has to be regulated by what? It has to be regulated by either law, custom, beliefs, and attitude. So it is something that have to be bounded by either a law, a belief system, a custom, or an attitude. And the rights and duties of this party have to be known. It is equally said to be a legal union of man and woman. And this legality can be in forms of laws, in forms of custom, in forms of beliefs, and in forms of attitude. So it is a legal union. It can be legalized by the law. When we talk about statutory marriage, it can be legalized by custom. When we talk about traditional marriage, it can be legalized by beliefs when you talk about Christian or Muslim marriage. It can be legalized by attitude when the two persons come into mutual contract and say we want to get married. So you see, this is marriage. Legal union of two persons, and it has to be bounded by law, custom, beliefs, or attitude. Now, how to see what marriage is? Let's see. What are the types of marriages that are practiced especially in our country, Nigeria. What are those types of marriages? So let's go to our next point, types of marriages. Let's take the second point on our discussion today, which is types of marriage. Types of marriage. Now, before I explain these 4 types of marriage, let me talk about 2 types of marriage: the polygamous marriage and the monogamous marriage. Monogamous marriage has to do with the marriage between a man and a woman. A man, a woman. That's to say, the man and the woman agree to come into holy matrimony to be joined as man and wife. That is that kind of marriage. Then we have another type of marriage, polygamous marriage. Polygamous marriage has to do with marriage between a man and more than one wife. Polyandry, a marriage between a woman and more than one husband. Those types of marriage. Or well, I call them forms of marriage. About those forms of marriages: polyandry, monogamy, polygamous kind of marriage. Let's look at the types of marriage we want to discuss this morning, or discuss in our class for today. We're going to talk about 4 of them: the Christian marriage, Islamic marriage, the traditional marriage, marriage under the Act marriage. Christian marriage. It is this type of marriage that is performed in a church. A pastor, a priest, a reverend, whoever the man of God is, will officiate in the marriage, and as the normal legal procedure that takes place in the church, he carries it out and then perform the marriage rite between the man and the woman. And most times, this marriage is done under the civil marriage, because in the church there must be a marriage certificate to be signed, which has already been documented by the customary court, or sometimes the high court. And most of these churches are giving the permission to take this marriage register to the church, so that the man and the woman and their witnesses will sign. And in accordance with the law of the land, they are officially said to be husband and wife. So it is a marriage done in a church that is performed by any officiating ministers that follows the religious practice to bring together the man and the woman. Now we go to Islamic marriage. Type of marriage, the Islamic marriage. This is a form of marriage that is performed under the law of the Islamic law. And most times we consider it civil marriage because they have their Islamic courts. They have their form of marriage registration too. They issue certificates of marriage. And a man or any person that has been assigned to perform the marriage rite carries it out, either in a mosque or in a private home. But it is done under the law of the Islamic custom. So it is a marriage that is performed in agreement with Islamic custom. Remember, when we define marriage, we talk about the custom, the belief. So in this case, the Islamic marriage is practiced or is performed in accord with the Islamic beliefs or their own custom or their own attitude system, where the man and the woman is brought into marriage. Traditional marriage, most times we call them customary marriage. It is a form of marriage that is done locally by the custom of the people, the belief system of the people. In this process, the two families, the bride and the groom's family, come together to agree for the two parties to go into holy matrimony. And it is the elder of the family, or whoever that is designated, that performs the marriage act. And the two families come together and agree that both persons should be legally married together. They have their own customary certificate they offer to this bride and the groom. And the groom is supposed to provide the marriage rights, the bride price and other things that the family of the bride asks for. It is legally accepted. Sometimes some families have their marriage certificates that they offer to their children who are married. It is legally accepted. So customary marriage is a kind of traditional marriage that is done in different communities. Each community or each family have their own procedure, rights, custom, and attitude of how they carry out their marriage. Then we have marriage under the Law Act. Marriage under the Law Act is said most times to be court marriage, statutory marriage, where the bride and the groom-to-be goes to the court, filing notification that they want to get married for a period of time or days. And then after the expiration of the days in question and nobody come to interfere with the filed notification, the judge or whoever heads there that is in charge of the marriage act issue a certificate to them. Sometimes marriage advice is given to them by the judge or any officiating minister that is invited to the law court or to the court or whichever place they have agreed to meet. That is the statutory marriage. So these four marriages is acceptable in Nigeria. This will be it for our class today. Please go over the video again and again. We've explained what marriage is. We've talked about polyandry, monogamous marriage and polygamous marriage. We will probably talk about the types of marriages we have. Christian marriage, Islamic marriage, traditional marriage, marriage under the law. And so go over them again, navigate through the channel, watch other of our videos. If you didn't see anyone, go over to our website, Classonlineschool.com. You will see all the episodes. Thank you for dropping by. Until I come your way next time, thank you.